Moira, this is your brother. You're a psychopath. I am a lawyer. You are not. I have 5 years' experience as a prosecutor and 2 years' experience as a district court prosecutor, which involved a lot of bench trials and 2 jury trials. So I even have a modest experience in trial work. Um, so I've set conditions for our communication, which is I asked you to send me text messages and leave me voicemails, and that I do not want to talk to you directly. This is because I'm a lawyer, and you are a gaslighting psychopath and a liar. And when lawyers have to deal with gaslighting psychopathic liars, they resort to something called interrogatories and depositions, so that the person has to speak on the record about what they're saying, so they can't lie and get away with it. And of course, so the reason I've stopped, I refuse to talk to you on the phone anymore is you're a gaslighting psychopath, and you attempt to make me angry by lying to me. So I will yell at you, so that you can then go to a third party and complain about my behavior, but you will conceal from those third parties that you intentionally angered me by telling lies and doing outrageous things. So for those reasons, I've set those conditions on our communication. Text messages only, or you can leave me voicemails or emails. In writing only would be best, but a recorded message is fine. Now, you called me recently, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I can't remember. And I rushed you off the phone and said I'm hanging up. The reason I did that is I said, look, these are the conditions for our communication. Now, both when you spoke to me live and in person on the phone, and when you left the follow-up voice message, you asked me whether or not I had received the most recent check for food money. And I'm staying at 10 Fairview Street. So I'm going to remind you of something. Even though you have concealed pretty much everything about Dad's estate illegally, or at least in a civilly actionable way, and even though you have acted with malfeasance as the manager of Dad's estate, which is a fiduciary duty, by your behavior, you have admitted that I am entitled to an inheritance. By letting me stay in 10 Fairview Street for 2 years, almost 2 years now after Dad's death, and by sending me money during that time for food, not much, $650 a month, you and Mom, by your behavior, admitted by behavior that I am entitled to an inheritance. Because you and Mom have given me an inheritance. I am the exclusive resident of 10 Fairview Street. And you and Mom have been sending me money for food. You stopped sending money, or the Greek mob is stealing the envelopes when they arrive from FedEx. I don't know which. The Greek mob who lives at 11 Fairview Street right across the street. You and the Greek mob are coordinating somehow, I suspect. You're sending the checks by FedEx, and they're stealing them after the envelope gets delivered, but before I can get to it. Anyways, here's the point. It doesn't matter whether or not I'm receiving the checks now. You have a fiduciary duty to make sure I'm receiving the checks. And you are 2 checks short. The amount of money is $2,600. And by your behavior and Mom's behavior, you have admitted that I am entitled to an inheritance as an heir of Thomas Anthony Dorsey. Doesn't matter what the legal documents say, because the legal documents are insufficient on their face. I've seen the will. And your behavior, as your performance as the manager of Dad's estate, which is a fiduciary duty, has been malfeasance, and by failing to do much of anything at all. Fiduciary duty means, for those that don't understand what fiduciary duty means you have an affirmative obligation under the law to act to make sure something happens. Fiduciary comes from the word faithful, or fidelis in Latin. And it's also the basis of the name. You know how people used to name their dogs Fido for faithful, right? Um, you have a fiduciary duty to make sure that these things happen, Moira. That I have a residency in this house, and that I get money for food and the use of the Prius. By your behavior, you have admitted that Dad's estate says I get money for food monthly, I get residency in 10 Fairview Street, and I get the use of a car. You can't go back on that now, no matter what the legal documents say. Got it, Moira? You're bound by the law and your own behavior.